Hey everyone, Andrew here. So a little while ago on this channel, I did a video for a demo for a little game called Ball Pit. Or is it Ball Cross Pit, Ball X Pit? I think it's just Ball Pit. Published by Devolver Digital. It's a kind of roguelite Vampire Survivors-esque. I like to say it's got Puzzle Bobble DNA with how you aim, along with Arkanoid and other Brick Breaker style games. But of course you have the level up system that is obviously inspired by Vampire Survivors, and the fusion mechanics and just like your treasure chest. I think they call them fission. It's pretty neat little game that I enjoyed the demo of, but back then I said when the Switch 2 version came out we would take a look at it together. Nothing crazy, just a quick look just to see how it performs. Spoiler alert, it performs fantastically. And I'm so happy, I have to say, I am so happy that this game is doing as well as it is. Because back when I made that video, it just kind of seemed like no one was really talking about it. It felt like something that was going to be brushed under the rug, with all these other major releases happening. And there's been a lot of really big games that have done exceptionally well. I mean, I myself have been completely entranced with another game that I'm going to be making a video on. A bigger video that is being worked on kind of at the same time as this one. But I just wanted to get this out first because it's a little simpler, a little less effort on my end. Besides the point. Yeah, I'm really happy this game's doing as well as it is. I've seen so many YouTubers posting about it now where they're just like, this is one of the best games of the year, super addictive. I love to see it. I'm so happy for this developer that they got this game out and it is in as good a shape as it can be. And yeah, without any further ado, let's check this thing out on Switch 2. Alright, so it is worth noting that the Switch 1 version in docked mode was 1080p 60 FPS. I'm not too positive if it maintained that 60 FPS all the time when things are getting chaotic, but I assume in general it was probably a very stable experience. I have not personally tested it on the original Switch. However, I can say on Switch 2, we are looking at what appears to be a 1080p resolution, buttery smooth 60 frames per second. And the really cool thing is, from what I understand, at least, is that they've basically gone in and upped some of the visual fidelity settings. So instead of bringing the resolution up to 4K, which is kind of what I expected they would, they've basically gone in and brought up level of detail and just overall it's all the improved. If you were on a computer and you were choosing settings, original Switch was basically set to a probably a mix of medium and low, and this is basically everything set to max. I guess is the best way to put it in basic terms. So basically level of detail is higher, aliasing is improved, and they're using higher quality shaders and textures and everything. So just overall it's a nice facelift, but it's not anything too drastic, if that makes sense. Now it sounds kind of lame if you think about it, but it works really well here. I think this game doesn't necessarily need to be at a higher resolution than 1080p. It would be nice if it was a higher resolution, but I'm not really going to knock it for being at 1080p because I think what we're looking at here visually is nice enough as is. And I mean, you're getting 1080p dock and 1080p in handheld, so visually this thing is going to look pretty much identical regardless of how you play it. One thing that's kind of interesting is that in handheld mode, this thing actually plays at 90 FPS, which is kind of interesting. My monitor for my 4K monitor that I play on only goes to 60, so I cannot confirm or deny if docked it also runs 90, but I do know that in handheld mode it does run 90 FPS, which is really neat because you're getting a much smoother experience. It doesn't, I mean, you gotta think of it this way, you're basically only going up by 50% in terms of frame rate, right? It's not 120. If it was 120, that'd be insane. That would be butter. Buttery smooth. But 90 FPS is actually a really respectable upgrade, I will say. And I think for a game like this, it's actually perfect because you don't need it to be 120 FPS. It would be cool if it was, but what we got here is really nice for an indie effort such as this. And honestly, I think this is a game where if you haven't played it at this point, you really should just you know, maybe on a weekend or something, set some time aside, give it a look, you know, and just try it out for a couple hours. I think this is one that really grew on me. After I filmed that initial demo video, I kind of played it a bit more on Steam, and it's a pretty special little game. And if you are into brick breaker games, or maybe even Puzzle Bobble, I know a lot of people have kind of bullied me online for saying that, but the aiming system in this game and how your shots bounce off of walls and stuff like that, it really does remind me of Puzzle Bobble, and it's kind of funny to think about, just, you know, violent Puzzle Bobble. Now I need a violent Puzzle Bobble. Right, anyways, getting off track. Yeah, this game, it's addictive. It's got a really good flow to it. Leveling up is always satisfying because you're able to make a lot of variety of builds through fusion and evolution. Combining ball types and stuff like that is just really satisfying. Like on this run, I went kind of more elemental focused, and that was a lot of fun. So I have the egg sac ball merged with my fireball that I started with. So the egg sac ball creates baby balls when it hits hits an object, and in this case it creates flaming baby balls, which that's a sentence I probably shouldn't say out loud. Anyways, you get what I'm saying. There's a lot of build diversity that you can have here, and just overall it's a fantastic indie game. And I'll stop gushing and cut this straight to the boss fight so you can see how that pans out. It took me a lot longer than I thought it would, but it's interesting how this game goes from just being a brick breaker to like a semi bullet hell in a matter of seconds. Again, this game, it's very special, and I highly recommend you check it out, especially on Switch 2. This is a fantastic game to take around with you portably, because you can play a session like, you know, 15 minutes or so and just kind of chill out with it and have a good time. Or if you want to play it in longer stints, you can as well, which is really nice. It's the perfect pick up and play game, which, you know, that means, in my opinion, perfect for Switch 2 or Steam Deck if you'd prefer to get it on Steam. So that is Ball Pit on the Nintendo Switch 2. A really high quality version of the game, not gonna lie. This is one where on Steam, yes, you can play it in 4K and it will look just that little bit sharper. However, I have to say, because, you know, it is a handheld system, that playing it on the Switch 2 in handheld mode at 90 FPS is actually pretty darn fun. And I do think that that is my preferred way to play. Of course, you can dock it. It is 1080p, 60 FPS, so, you know, you're not getting like a crazy experience. However, it is improved over the original Switch version in that basically the graphical detail has been, you know, bumped up to the max setting that you would get on PC. Fantastic little indie game that I do highly recommend. It can get pretty challenging the later you get into it, for sure. But I mean, that's pretty much the genre in a nutshell, if you think about it. Anyways, without any further ado, hope you all have a... Actually, no, we're not ending here, because I must do my part to say thank you all for joining me on this journey. We are over 900 subs now. I'm very happy for that. And here soon, like within the next week or so, I am going to start releasing... I wasn't going to do this originally. I'm going to start releasing some content that is going to build up to the 1,000 sub special. I kind of figured that it would just be a good way to kind of garner the interest in that special video when it does come out. It is, again, going to be an interview with a really cool person. It's a part of gaming history that's been long forgotten, I feel. And I think it would just be a really neat story to share with the world. There have been videos, like little documentaries on YouTube about this topic, so I'm not going to point you at those just yet. I will when I do make the big video at 1,000 subs. I might even film it soon, honestly. We're hitting that point where we're having just that right amount of growth where it might actually be worth it just to go ahead and film it and produce it and make it the best I can. But yeah, here soon I'm going to start putting out some videos of things that will mildly be hinting at that video, but also it'll be a really cool glimpse into a collection that I have not shown you yet. And that collection is really cool. So I hope you look forward to that. I think it's going to blindside pretty much everyone watching. except for those who are on the Discord who might have seen my little teaser pictures. So yeah, I really am looking forward to sharing my larger collection with you all, and by larger I do mean larger, literally larger, in more ways than one. So anyways, look forward to it. If you like what you see, please consider liking the video. I don't really know what liking videos does, honestly. I don't really care that much. It's just something people like to have happen. So yeah, I guess if you want to do that, go ahead. Remember, if you sub, I'll love you forever. You'll be part of the family, and you will get me one step closer to my ultimate goal of sharing a really cool piece of gaming history with the world. Really looking forward to that. And again, I appreciate all of you, love you all, and I hope you have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world, and I will see you next time.